Well, good afternoon. Welcome and thank you for joining us today for our virtual business symposium. And today we're going to cover different topics about economic recovery, COVID-19, practices, protocols, as well as hearing from the business community. Is there anything else we can do? And so at this point, we have with us a distinguished panel. We have Mr. Ruben Islas, President of the Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Islas. Your microphone, Mr. Islas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a great invitation for the Chamber of Commerce.
And we have also our EDC Director for the great city of Rio Grande City, Ms. Alinda Guillen.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you again, Mayor, talking to our business community.
And also Ms. Rose Benavides, President of the Starr County Industrial Foundation.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for allowing us to be part of this panel. We're excited to be able to share some of the latest details we have, and more importantly, to continue to work together to have our business community of the entire county working towards the same effort to improve the services and allow them to get back to some sense of normalcy. So thank you so much.
Well, once again, we welcome the community. I know we're focusing on the business community at this point. However, we have other community members listening in on this virtual symposium. And one of the things about dealing with this global pandemic is our business community and how it has impacted our business community. And in many cases, for some, it's affected them differently, right? When it comes to economic recovery, when it comes to closing down your stores. And through the course of the last several months, we've done different types of initiatives to begin the process of economic recovery. I know it is difficult, but at this point, I do want to thank the business community for the efforts that many of the business owners have initiated to not only deal with the global pandemic, but at the same time, the initiatives such as protocols for those businesses that remained open, the initiatives such as the face coverings, the sanitizing, and working with people in some cases, in many cases, dealing with crowds and minimizing of merchandise and so on. And it has been difficult. And here at City Hall, we are cognizant of that. And so thank you so much for being part of the solution in dealing with this global pandemic and all the efforts. And one of the things that prior to COVID-19, it was very clear that businesses in Rio Grande City and the county as a whole have prospered, and the sales taxes, for example, were going in a very positive direction. However, because of this pandemic, we have been hit, and at many levels, and we understand that, and we cannot say enough about thanking the business community for their efforts. And so today we will be talking about protocols and reopening as well, and the top-rated campaign that we have here in Rio Grande City to continue to promote the protocols, because in dealing with this COVID-19, we cannot let our guard down. I know we have been amassing more cases as the weeks go by, and it is an effort that we all have to do. And so pushing and helping through this, but at the same time, we want to focus on economic recovery. And that is a way to marriage these, the economic recovery, but at the same time, maintaining safe protocols to ensure that the public remains safe, as well as the employees of the organizations. So all this, and then at the end, we will be taking questions as well. So please share with us your input. We want to hear from you. What are the things that are working? What are the things that are not? Are there any other initiatives that you recommend for us to proceed with, to continue with this recovery? And then we will look at all this information today and the weeks to come, and then come with an assessment and a plan to how to continue to promote our economic recovery, which I strongly feel that Rio Grande City and the surrounding communities will come out of this stronger. And I know it is a challenge, and we understand that, but let's continue working together. Let's make this a productive meeting, and let's see what solutions we can come up with as well. And we'll share the initiatives that are already in place. So with that, I'll turn it over to our first guest, and it's Mr. Ruben Islas, and he is our president of the Rio Grande City Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Islas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Right now, we're working in the Greater Chamber of Commerce. Main goal is to help businesses grow and success. That's why this time the Greater Chamber of Commerce is offering free memberships, for right now, for the own business that are like big. Right now is in the Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to continue for one more year, giving and helping to the community of Rio Grande and Stark County, like with a free membership. This means it's for 1 year at no cost. And I know with the COVID-19, it's very hard. A lot of the business, like you can see close, or like right now they open the business, but I know it's very hard, to continue with the same speed right now, like before. But with this, we helping the business with marketing and promotion as we go back to normal. I understand how to use technology, for customers to use the technology and the marketing. That's why the Greater Chamber of Commerce, that's why we're here to help, to help the community. And at this time, the Small Business and Development Association and local and state federal grant loans giving directions, to how to follow, how to continue, with like example, like a loan, especially like departments or stores or any business they're closed for all these COVID-19.
So did I hear that correctly? For the next year, there will be no membership dues or fees for any business that is currently in the chamber, but also any new business that wants to join the chamber.
Yes, sir, correct. Yes, like I said, the Greater Chamber of Commerce is going to continue, helping the businesses with 1 year for free, at no cost. I'm saying new members, or or like the members we have right now with the chamber. And I'm saying, and this is, like I said, is to help with all of this for the COVID-19. But definitely the Chamber of Commerce is here to continue, helping, like I said, to promote the businesses, and I'm saying like in marketing, by Facebook. I'm saying it's to continue, promoting the businesses in Stark County.
And that is a great initiative instituted by the chamber, that you're giving the existing members the opportunity to continue to receive all the services, and at the same time, new members receiving those services for free. And just to reiterate of some of the benefits and services that the chamber provides, aside from ribbon cutting ceremonies, aside from promoting the businesses through social media, also offering different presentations to those businesses and continuing to promote them. And it's all, at this point, it will be free of charge. And we cannot say enough about reaching out to all businesses, Rio Grande City that to take advantage of this opportunity to be featured through the chamber and marketed through all the services that the chamber does. And I applaud the chamber for taking that initiative and being considerate of this global pandemic and how it has affected the business community, their bottom lines. So kudos to the chamber and thank you, sir. And let's promote it. So let's keep promoting. Let's recruit more businesses, and that way they can start taking advantage of all these wonderful services that the chamber provides. Along with, we'll transition over to EDC. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Dalinda Guillen, our EDC director.
Yes, well, Mayor, just to echo in your comments, kudos to the chamber for that generous offer. We're, good partners with the Rio Grande City Chamber of Commerce, and I know Rose can speak as well. We partner on, education for our local businesses. We want to bring those resources to them, and at no cost. Many times we're able to bring in some phenomenal speakers to speak to our business community about topics that are relevant and important to them in their day-to-day business operations. So I think that's a really great deal, Ruben, and I applaud the chamber for taking that step. Right now, businesses that I have spoken to are the much smaller ones, because obviously we have businesses that are much larger that have the opportunity to open more comfortably because they have more resources. But the smaller businesses that I've spoken to are still struggling with the concern of what's next, what's going to happen, if I open, how long could that be, what's the confidence of the consumer in buying my product or getting coming to me for my service. And I think that there is a need for the consumer to feel safe in their experience with our businesses. And I applaud those that have already taken that leap, with the recent reopenings of businesses in our community, and for showing that they are doing everything that they can to ensure the safety of their customers along with their employees, because like you said earlier, Mayor, it's about keeping the public safe. And we're all in this together, and so we need to do our part. But there's those that are still, even with the ability to or authority to open, are reluctant, are scared to take that step. And that's where I recommend that they talk to us, whether it's the EDC or the Industrial Foundation or the Chamber, to help give them that information and hopefully that level of confidence that they need to open back up again, because I think that's what they need to hear from trusted individuals in our community. So, I think that's a great offering on the Chamber's part, and I'm hoping that many businesses will take you up on that and come to you for some initiatives to help them get going and get back to business safely. But in speaking about safety in our community, and especially the business community, we've been very fortunate to work with a team of individuals at various departments within the city to roll out some initiatives that are, helping to transition that reopening. And some of them have already gone through some of those steps. I know I have a presentation, just a couple of slides to summarize some of this stuff, but we do have as part of some of our reopening initiatives, for example, we work together with our county to develop a uniform COVID-19 free form for our businesses. And this provides the guidelines that they need to keep everyone safe at the workplace. And it almost is a checklist of things that one must do to reopen their business in our community. And so what we have, hope to gain from that is to get businesses to develop, their own specific work plans within their business, whether it's to modify their layouts or to enforce some additional employee training about the need to monitor their health, the need to practice social distancing, to take the precautions necessary, not only at the workplace, but at the home. And then, of course, just a different level of disinfecting and cleaning that we've never seen before. And so that form of cleaning and our businesses is something that is becoming more and more the norm, and just, you know, the education and what's expected is outlined in that form. This is something that could be downloaded off of our city website or picked up at our planning office. Right now we're still operating by our drive-through, but you can always obtain a copy of this if you're interested in opening. And then, of course, our planning offices are there to help answer any questions about the specific requirements that are necessary, and how you know, you can go about safely opening up your business. And another really cool thing that we have, I think we're gaining a lot more traction on this, that is the, as the mayor mentioned earlier, the top-rated COVID-19 best business practice campaign. And so this is to recognize those businesses who are taking those prevention measures seriously and going, you know, above and beyond to make that, you know, enforcement in their workplace. And we've had a couple of decals that have gone out. I know that I think right now our planning office is giving us an updated list, but we will have that up on our website. Actually, we do have some of those up there right now at www.rgc-tv.com. But you know, this seal is a sign. It's a visible sign that you know, builds that or helps to build that confidence in the consumer, knowing that when they're walking into that establishment, that that employer is looking out for them, that business is looking out for them, making sure that they're doing everything that they can to make their experience at their location safe. And so I do have a couple of pictures we've taken recently. I think those have been up on our Facebook pages as well, or our city sites. And so these are just some of the examples of some of our business clients who have already received their decal. And of course, you know, they're not easy to obtain either. You know, you have to really prove that you're going above and beyond to meet those expectations. Earlier today, while I was out visiting with a couple of businesses, I noticed that they too were doing their part, and so they'll probably receive a visit from our code enforcement office very soon to get their decal. And then lastly, you know, we do have a need to collect as much information as we can from our business community, which is why we have issued out a economic impact survey from our office to try to get down to the bottom of, you know, what are some of the struggles our businesses have had. And so this form collects data that we will, you know, compile and share with our local, state, and federal partners to identify opportunities for assistance. I know that the Industrial Foundation had one not that long ago, and I know their survey closed a couple of weeks ago. We're drilling down on the financial part to it, and I know that there's still a lot of need, and there's still a lot of expenditures that our businesses are making to get ready to open. And so there's still an opportunity to share this information with us. It is available on our website, and of course we've had this survey open for about 2 weeks now, and so we're closing or trying to wrap this up tomorrow, so there's still a chance to get those comments into us. And again, Mayor, you know, what we want to do is to help our business community as much as we can to bring the information that they need in a timely manner. And I know that, you know, our websites, all of our social media channels have been broadcasting education from national organizations like the Small Business Administration and SCORE, the Texas Workforce Commission, everything that we believe our business community needs to understand what they're getting into in this new normal. And so, you know, I applaud everybody here in the group for doing their part on sharing this information. And then, of course, just constantly updating our businesses on the latest news that is available on our website. So I think as far as information, it's a bit of an overload, but it's our job to kind of break it down and make it simpler. So if you still struggle with some of those details coming out of our, you know, agencies, whether they be local, state, or federal, I encourage you to call us. Call us at City Hall, call us at the Industrial Foundation, call us at the chamber, and we can sit with you and talk to you a little bit more about, our understanding of some of those policies and hopefully ease some concerns that you might be having. But I think we're all doing our part to try to help our businesses feel more comfortable, and of course get the economy back up and running like we want to see it. There's a lot of great things still coming, despite the the news of some cases here that have been identified recently. I can speak for our city. We're still getting calls from prospects and that will bring new jobs to our community. So there's still that confidence in our community that makes me feel good that there is some light at the end of this tunnel, and we still have a lot more to offer our community. But we're going at a different pace right now due to all of the health concerns that we have across the country. But there's no doubt that we're still in the eyes of some of these businesses that are looking to come and invest in our community. I'm sure that Rose will say the same.
Thank you, Ms. Deanne. Just to echo some of those sentiments, in fact, I've been to several of the COVID-19 best business practices, top rated decals, and it was great to see how these businesses are going above and beyond the minimum standards set forth by the state. And I went to restaurants. In fact, yesterday I was at a gym here, Rio Max Fitness, and it's incredible what the owners of the gym have gone through in reference to opening up, and at the same time being concerned for their customers and going above those minimum standards, including checking people's temperature and continuing to require face coverings. Which, by the way, that's one of those things that I recommend that all businesses require face coverings if people want to conduct business. And that is something, I know that in some cases it's caused some controversy, but this is not about a partisanship issue or no, this is about maintaining our community's health and wellness first and foremost. And returning back to the gym, it was incredible to see to what lengths they're going to making sure that their customers are safe. And part of this whole economic recovery is that people need to feel safe going into a business. They need to feel that hey, I'm going to go to this restaurant and the restaurant is going above and beyond these minimum standards, and they truly care about my health and wellness. So as people begin to feel more comfortable and safe, then you will see more individuals, because I keep hearing that whenever I'm talking to individuals, the first thing I hear is that they're concerned about going to a restaurant. They're concerned about going to getting a haircut or going to any of the other stores, for example. There is a genuine concern, and it's valid, right? I mean, it's a valid concern, but at the same time, all these protocols and measures are proven effective. And that's why it's imperative, and I cannot stress this enough, that we continue to follow all these protocols that we've established and continue to promote them. And by all of us doing this, then we will have this successful reopening of our community, of our businesses, because of course we don't want to go back. And at this point, by following and continuing to promote all these protocols, we will be able to reopen and at the same time minimize the spread of this COVID-19. And I truly believe that we can do both. We can do both, provided that all of us continue to do our part. So, but yes, the campaign has been excellent. And I also visited Chili's, and I know they were visited with a manager there, and they are going above and beyond. I visited other restaurants, and they are too. So I really like what I'm seeing, where businesses are going above and beyond the minimum standards. So to all the business owners, to all the businesses, thank you for doing this. And let's continue to promote this campaign. And please call our planning department, and we will definitely go visit your business, definitely do the decal. And at the same time, we're promoting your business. So keep that in mind. We're promoting your business, not just that you're going above and beyond, but also the fact that you are keeping in mind your customers' welfare and health, and your employees as well. So continue focusing on that campaign, and we'll do our part to promote your business too. So with that, I'll turn it over to our next speaker, which is Ms. Rose Benavides with the Stark County Industrial Foundation. Ms. Benavides.
Thank you, Mayor. And absolutely, you know, we applaud what the City of Rio Grande and the EDC and the Chamber are doing. These initiatives are exactly, I think, what businesses need, because we're fielding a lot of calls from people still trying to make sense of all of these requirements, all these protocols. And with that said, one of the initiatives that the Industrial Foundation is currently undergoing is actually providing the kind of training to each sector to go over what those requirements are, to ensure that every business from, if you're retail, these are the things you need to be doing. These are the minimum requirements that you'll need. And then if you go beyond that, you have the ability to go ahead and participate in these kind of marketing initiatives that will allow you to ensure that people gain that consumer confidence that we need in order for all our businesses to be successful. So we're finalizing the details on that training that's coming very soon, and it'll be at no cost to the businesses, of course. And additionally, we've also been contacted by a group whose primary focus is actually teaching businesses what type of deep cleaning is necessary, what kind of cleansers can you use, what kind of expectations do you have if you're going to be meeting CDC guidelines to ensure that you're not mixing chemicals that aren't supposed to be mixed. All of that is also going to be free of charge. And so we just started those conversations this week, but everything's moving so quickly that we expect that within the next 10 to 14 days, those plans will be up and going. And so we've also started to look at how do we go about ensuring that our business community is reminded and recognizes that moving forward, business will not be as it is now. There's going to be a significant need for business owners to look at what online and other aspects of marketing and of sales mean to their business, because brick and mortar continues to be a struggle for many because of the overhead. And we know that occupancy restrictions are also something that is not potentially financially viable for people when they open their businesses. So we're working on a program to provide free training for people to understand how to use the cash apps, how to use opportunities to have people prepay without having to handle dollars. Because if you go to many stores right now, people aren't accepting cash. They want you to prepay, they want you to use your card. We understand many people don't have access to bank accounts. So there's ways to use your cell phone and just use some apps to be able to connect to pay. So those are the things that the Industrial Foundation is looking at now. We spent a lot of time talking about the response, and with good reason. You know, there's a lot to be said about metrics, and we use these every time we present. Is what is our unemployment? Because for us, that's always been a major way of indicating that the economic progress in our community is being benchmarked and is literally able to be kept track with numbers. And so for the first time in a very long time, we are not only at single digits, but we're up to 16% in Stark County. So that number obviously is skewed. It isn't very much telling an entire story, but when people look at where we are, they're looking for investment, and Belinda will tell you this as well. Those kind of numbers hurt your prospects of getting people to invest because they're understanding there's areas that are struggling economically. But when you compare to what's happening here, what's happening around the country, there's really not much of a difference. So it's not single. We're not unique to this situation. The idea potentially is that that there may be a potential that by the end of the year, the country might be between 15 to 25% unemployment. And so how quickly that shifts is going to be based on the initiatives we're doing locally, because like politics, business is local also. And so we need to remember that every dollar that we spend outside of Stark County is a dollar that is not improving our economic opportunity. We were fortunate with the sales tax report for the month of March that still hadn't captured the COVID-19 pandemic. And so we still had an increase throughout the county of about 8.5%, which is pretty comparable to what we've been having for the last 2-3 years. We expect that the one coming up in April is going to be pretty devastating from our standpoint, just because for the first time in a long time, we're going to see a dip in that sales. So, we implore businesses to continue to know that we are trying very hard to bring initiatives that will help them build their business up again. But at the same time, we want consumers to know that what we're doing is finding ways to make them feel safe, and then finding ways to allow them to spend the dollars in our community with our local businesses, because they are the backbone of what's going to make this community rebound as quickly as it can, or potentially make us struggle longer if we're not able to help them through this. And so as we're looking at what the future brings to us, I know you've talked about this, Mayor. We've had multiple announcements regarding new businesses that fortunately have not stopped, and those prospects have gone beyond being prospects to actually being projects that throughout the summer people are going to see the beginning of some construction on those projects. And so we have jobs coming to our community, and we know that job is going to look different. We know people's expectation of what cleaning, disinfecting, of what actually providing customer service, and more importantly, customer safety is going to mean. And so we want that to be a broad part of our programming when we're doing business expansion, so that as we're moving forward and people are reopening, they know that we're in this together, and our success as a community is dependent on the success of our businesses, and is dependent on the consumer confidence that we can create from our residents. So we're going to continue to bring initiatives. We expect within the next probably 10 to 14 days, at least 2 of these initiatives will become available for our business community, like we said, free of charge, allowing them to learn how to market their business online, allowing them to learn how to properly disinfect and clean their businesses, so that they're meeting and going beyond standards, and also more importantly, knowing what those standards are, and understanding that this is not a cookie cutter, one size fits all, because these requirements are changing weekly, but more importantly, they're different to every business. And so we're going to continue to be great partners with the EDC, with the Chamber of Commerce, and with the rest of our business community, because we understand that there are many factors that are out of our control, the pandemic obviously being the largest one, but sectors like oil and gas that are suffering throughout the country are also factors that create even more need for us to find a way to offset some of those unemployment numbers. So we will look forward to the next 2 weeks as an effort to continue to point out to this region that Stark County is resilient, and that Stark County understands what it means to come together to improve our community and to ensure that our businesses prosper.
Thank you, Ms. Benavides. Could you give us a little bit of a status update on the new Rio Grande Village development?
Yeah, absolutely, Mayor. So as everyone drives by, you will see there's a lot of work being done still on the infrastructure and the site work for the project. The timeline for the completion of that potentially could be as early as the end of this month, potentially the first week of June. We can't toy with Mother Nature, and sometimes she has other plans, and so when you're working out in these kind of projects, if you have 2 to 5 inches of rain in a very short period, it tends to put a little damper, not just on the ground, but on what your machinery can do out there. And so the groups are working real hard to try and stay on target. The idea is that here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, that work should be complete, or at least very close to being complete. And we're still targeting summer to get people like Waterbird relocated, Chick-fil-A, Buffalo Wings and Ring, the Starbucks that is coming. And as a matter of fact, we can't disclose anything today, but we'll tell you that here within the next day or so, we'll have at least two new projects that we'll be able to work with you to share to our community.
Thank you, Ms. Benavides. And to reiterate the point of business community and how do we keep those dollars here in Rio Grande City and Stark County. And I know we've had initiatives about shopping locally, and we'll continue to promote those. And I know that sometimes it's not possible. I mean, some people do leave the area, but when it's possible, when we are here, is to be conscientious in making those little efforts that go a long ways. For example, whenever I go outside Stark County, 99% of the time, I will make sure that I gas up here locally before I leave. Now, it's just to make that conscientious effort to do that. And in many cases, I have priced elsewhere and brought those prices to the local vendors, and they've given me or matched those prices, whether it's at one of the Best Buys or one of the Lowe's. And let's say you're looking for some type of furniture or some type of refrigerator, stove. And what I've done is I've priced it, took pictures, and then brought it over to our local vendors here and see if they can match those prices. And then they have. So, and there are many ways that we can continue to do this. I know it takes time and effort, and it's not, you can't do it 100% of the time. But if all of us take that initiative to be conscientious, then that goes a long ways, because those dollars stay here locally. And those local business owners, you know, they rely on these monies. And when you are leaking a lot of these monies outside of our county, then obviously there's an impact here locally. So let's continue to promote that. And again, I know it's not, in fact, there are times that I've been at other places and it's not possible or feasible to come back all the way. I understand that. All we're saying is when it's possible, when it's feasible, take those extra measures conscientiously to spend those dollars here in Rio Grande City and Stark County as a whole. And let's continue to promote that. Now, we're also going to be taking some questions. So at this point, any questions from any of the business owners, or just any questions in general pertaining to business recovery? I just want to reiterate the point that we are seeking funds, some relief funds through federal government, and we're applying. And should we receive some of those funds, then we will take those plans to see what kind of internal stimulus can we do through the city, through the county, and see if it's possible. And of course, these are efforts that we're working on and trying to promote this business recovery. And but when you're looking at the numbers, it shows the resilience, as you mentioned, Ms. Benavides. I know the March numbers were, I mean, I was anticipating lower numbers, to be frank with you. However, the silver lining was that we were up a certain percentage. Now, the numbers for April and May, we'll see. But nonetheless, it shows the power of our community when it comes to economics here in Rio Grande City and Stark County, when you're looking at still being able to sustain, in a sense, an upgrade, or let's say, going back to the numbers and not, I guess, going back to the concept that the numbers are good, even though we're dealing with a global pandemic and how that's affected our everyday lives. So there is a lot of promise. There is promise, and let's continue working on that. And I think our recovery, where we are and a process to recovery, I know it's going to be a challenge, and let's work on this. And that's where we need the community's help here with all the businesses. What is it that would help you? What is it that we can come together? What initiatives are there, other initiatives that we can do to promote, to somehow let's getting through this recovery? Are there any questions, Ms. Custer, at this point, or anything that we can answer, or any topic that we haven't yet covered that businesses are interested in hearing a little bit about? Ms. Guillen, are you getting any questions by any chance?
Yes, so we started up a Facebook page that gained a lot of traction, especially since our businesses were closed during that period of sheltering in place, where they were talking about what they offered at their business. And some of those businesses were operating for takeout or curbside. And so that one page on Facebook is the Rio Grande City Eat Shop Play Local. So this is just driven by the business community. They're the ones posting and sharing their promotions, their specials, you know, their hours of operation as they're changing, and rules that they're implementing. So I encourage you to, if you're a business in our community, to sign yourself up and share that, share information about your business on this page, because there are a lot of people watching it and following, and I've seen some really great promotions come out of there actually, and have taken a really good look at what our businesses are doing. And I think that they're just engaging with each other and sharing what they have to offer. Now with businesses opening up again with modified guidelines, you know, they're updating that news about their businesses on this site. So it's encouraging to see all that activity coming directly from our business community on this one little Facebook page. But I do want to say to Rose's comment earlier about cleaning and disinfecting, because there is a lot of question about what are the solutions we must use to properly disinfect, and so yeah, there is definitely a need to share this type of education with our business community. In fact, about a week or so ago, our city gave out some disinfectant to the local business community to help them prepare and help them save on their end, to have some of this solution at their disposal to help them clean and be ready for reopening. And so, you know, I think we could do more to help educate them on the proper use of these solutions that are out there to help them disinfect the workplace. I know it's challenging to find some of this, and so you know, maybe one of the things we can work on is to get a better list of suppliers who are in our area that we can, you know, help to promote, and I know that the Valley's doing this to try to keep those sales local, and so we can do the same too to help our business community out. So I think that's a really good program that Rose is putting out there on education. Well, each city has posted this information on their website. The county, I believe, also has it on there. So just go to any of the local government pages and you'll find this. I know the city of Rio Grande City has it, and it's got instruction on where to send it back to, which is our planning office. And of course, our fire department and our code enforcement will work with you to identify your occupancy rates and make sure that that you understand that form and what is asked of you to safely reopen. But that's also on the city of Rio Grande City website. And specific guidelines, I think if you want to go into more detail, the governor's checklist online also have some good detail. And I believe that all of our websites carry that information or a link to those checklists. So you can go to any one of our websites and find that information. And that breaks it down by sector. So you'll know what's being asked of your beauty salons, of your gyms, of your retail, of your restaurants. Very useful information. And those are updated too. So you might want to take a look at those as there has been some changes.
I think that we're always supportive and encouraging people to open up their businesses. And yes, it is a challenging time. Capital right now is being diverted to assist businesses that were in existence before the pandemic. But I believe that that has not changed the idea of trying to nurture the entrepreneurial spirit. And so if they reach out to the Stark County Industrial or to the EDC, I know that we still have the ability to assist them with developing their business plans, which is going to be critical. And more importantly, still looking for outlets for potential access to capital. And so I think a visit to either of our offices would answer some of those questions. And I know that it is a uncertain time to be concerned about whether your business will be successful, because in the best of times, that's always a challenge. But we're offering the same support that we have been since before the pandemic to anyone looking to open a business.
And I would just echo that. Please feel free to visit our EDC office here at City Hall, the Stark County Industrial Foundation's office, or Mr. with the Chamber of Commerce, and have a visit, have a one-to-one conversation, and see what kind of let's get a little bit more detail of what you're looking for. And then at that point, we'll see what kind of resources. And keep in mind that the Chamber, the EDC, the Stark County Industrial Foundation, they work together. They have a strong network to be able to share information and access some of these resources. So if one is not privy to some information, the other organization might, and that's where we have a good working relationship and partnership between departments and organizations to be able to network and refer, and at the same time access valuable information that will go a long ways for those potential businesses looking to invest here in Rio Grande City, or existing businesses as we continue to recover through this global pandemic. So feel free to contact our offices, and we'll be glad to sit down and have an appointment, a one-to-one, and begin that conversation. And going back to being part of that chamber as well, and the services that come with it, webinars, speaker series, ribbon cuttings, promotional material, videos, all that is part of the package. And at this point, as Mr. Islas was mentioning, it is free. In essence, for the next year, it'll be a free service, and you'll be collaborating with other businesses and sharing the wealth and knowledge of other businesses that have been successful here as well. And and piggyback on some of those services or knowledge and expertise for that matter. Any other questions or comments, Ms. Custer? Okay. One of the questions that was asked of me was about the drainage here right across Walmart in that new development, as well as 83. And just to keep this in mind that we are, in fact, I met with TxDOT and several departments, engineers this week to have a conversation and looking at drainage plan as a whole for Rio Grande City and the surrounding areas, and particularly addressing problem areas. And yes, 83 has been a problem prior to this new development. I know there was some conversation, did this new development create a problem with it? And just to reiterate the point that that development has its own drainage plan, and it will be draining towards the Los Olmos Creek in an east northerly way. Now, what we are looking at is doing an assessment of the entire area from PTS all the way through here by the Sprint, let's say continuing through Walmart area, that whole 83 section. Why? Because there are, in noticing those areas, there are few inlets, there are some areas there that we need to really look at and see how we can expand. But this is something that has been in the process. There's been a lot of development, which is great, but at the same time, it has put into practice some of these waters that are going into 83. So just keep this in mind. We are looking at that. We are visiting with the engineers and coming up with a solution to address those problem areas. And rest assured, we are looking at it. We've had those conversations. We're continuing, and we will work. Now, keep in mind that it was inches in such a short period of time, and most roads, by the way, most roads are designed for really about an inch of water per hour. Let's say an inch to an inch and a half per hour. Now, typically, which you're talking about equating the 50-year flood or 100-year flood, but nonetheless, bottom line is we are addressing it, and we are looking at ways to minimize the impact of water going into 83, because we do recognize it is a problem area and we need to find ways to address it. But we are, and we've had those conversations, and we will come to a solution. So that was one of the questions about that drainage, since we had a couple of weeks ago at I believe it was 3 inches within an hour. However, it was a lot more than that. It was a lot of water in such a short period of time. Now, it did drain very well. Once it stopped raining, then it drained very well, and the inlets did its work. However, it was still a lot of water, and it looked like a river out there, and we understand that. So we are addressing it. We will address it, and making sure that as we move forward in more construction, all those different users do have their own drainage plan within the property that they're utilizing. But going back to that, we are looking at it. We will be addressing it, and we are as early as the next few weeks to continue to have those conversations and address some of those issues in a plan, really. You're looking at thousands of dollars having to be invested in that, and it will. Anything else, Ms. Custer? The only other question that I have, well, not a question, but it's more of a comment, is for the businesses to continue to promoting, and we will continue to promote the Shop Rio, the Shop Local, the Shop here in Stark County as a whole. And I encourage all businesses to do the same. How do we come up with nice campaigns or good campaigns to promote this, and not just a single dose or event, but all of us continuing to promote that. And I'm looking at not just Rio Grande City, right, but Roma to do the same thing about shopping local, as Starr County as a whole, because at the end of the day, what happens to Roma affects Rio Grande, what happens to La Grulla affects Rio Grande. And that's, by the way, one of the great things about a community of Starr County. The reason, or one of the main reasons that we've been able to manage the spread of this COVID-19 has been because of the collaborative effort between or among all the cities in the county as a whole, and being able to not just work as a silo, but is having conversations with the other municipalities and the county judge, so that way we come up with a plan as a community, as a county, and that plan proved to be very effective. And it continues to prove effective, even though the numbers are rising. However, let's continue to work through this and minimize that spread. So kudos to everyone. And I think this campaign can be the same as let's promote a campaign within the county, and definitely Rio Grande City, of course. And we're focusing here on Rio Grande City, but I would say this to any of the other municipalities here in Starr County to do the same, that if we can keep these monies in our county, that will go a long ways. There's got to be a way to continue to promote that, and there is. With that, any other comments that you all would like to make before we close today, or anything else, Ms. Custer, before we begin to close our conversation today? Okay. Oh, and by the way, a shout out to Star Barber. In fact, I did my hair last night. Finally cut my hair after 2 months. But shout out to Star Barber for assisting me with that. They did a tremendous job, by the way. They sanitizing, the shields, the face mask, the whole gamut of above and beyond protocol. So thank you to Star Barber. And again, let's promote all your businesses. At the end is promoting all your businesses and the great work that you're doing, and how we're working together to promote health and wellness and minimizing the spread of this COVID-19. So with that, Mr. Isla, do you have any closing remarks before we close today's?
Yes, sir. Yes. Information about the Greater Chamber of Commerce. Right now, I'm saying, like, you can go and pick up application, but you can email to the Rio Chamber at gmail.com, or I'm saying any information you can call 956-488-8609. I'm saying this is reference like for the free membership. I'm saying, and especially we can help you, like how to follow or continue with a federal grant or loan. So I'm saying, like, to give you directions. I'm saying in case I'm saying like the owner business, they have a little problem. I'm saying like they can contact the Greater Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Mr. Islas. And again, what a promotion. It's free for the next year to all businesses. And if you want to be part of this great opportunity to get these services for free, please contact Mr. Islas at Rio Chamber, and I guarantee you it's going to prove worthy of being part of the Chamber of Commerce and all the wonderful services that they provide. With that, Ms. Guillen, do you have any closing remarks?
Yes, just as Ruben said, feel free to come to any of us. Don't feel burdened by the overwhelming information out there that if we can help you sort through all of that and make it easier on you, that's what we're here for. And of course, for all those businesses that are out there that are open, don't let all of that hard work go unnoticed. Like I said earlier, I was at a couple of places and I was just very impressed by the level of prevention measures that they took. And so, let us know so that we can come out and recognize you for that. I think our community deserves to know that there are plenty of businesses out there doing their part, and that's how we gain that consumer confidence that Rose said earlier our community needs to rebound and make this economy stronger. So I encourage you to give us a call.
Thank you, Ms. Guillen. Ms. Benavides?
Mayor, thank you again for allowing us to be here, and we want the business community to know that exactly, that we're here for them, and that we know that the struggle is real, and that their challenges are all serious and distinct. But at the end of the day, we all have the same mission, and it's to ensure that they aren't able to reopen, but that they're able to get to a level of success that is viable for them, because we want these businesses to succeed, and we want them to be able to continue to be the backbone of this economy. And to do that, they need to be able to feel comfortable to reach out to us. And so they can call either of our offices. They can go to our websites, starcounty.org. And find a way. And if we don't know the answer, we will absolutely do everything that we can to connect them to the people that will be able to help them. But from the standpoint of our community, I think that, and we talked about this as all day, is that the businesses are only as good as their customers. And so these, as we work through this, the ability to allow people and to have people feel safe and secure is what's going to be the pinnacle of success here. And I think Alinda alluded to this just a short while ago. Visiting these businesses, you know that they are trying their earnest, and they're doing everything that they can in order for customers and residents to feel like they can shop here. And I think that the ability to be able to let the residents know that they're doing that is where we need to assist them in that challenge, so that people feel comfortable to go and shop. And we're reaching the end of May. There's a lot of graduations coming up, a lot of graduation gifts. So we encourage businesses to start promoting efforts to allow graduates a shout out to the graduates from South Texas College and from each high school. By the way, I know that this is not the kind of graduation week coming up that you expected, but we tell you what, the fact that you've made it through and that you're here says a lot about your spirit. And I think that as we move forward, these are the kind of individuals that are going to make our workforce, that are going to make our new business owners. And so we want them to know that we're looking towards the future with them. And we understand that in order for us to be successful, they need to be successful. So we encourage everyone to do everything they can on their part, to shop as many times as they can locally, and more importantly, to believe in the government that they have, because we're trying to do the right thing, and we're trying to ensure that the dollars and the efforts that we bring forth are for the public good.
Keep that in mind for all the graduates, as I was mentioning, that bigger and better. You're graduating now, it's bigger and better the next year. I know through this global pandemic and how many of the events that normally took place, you were not part of those. However, you will be part in the future of many other bigger and better things. As you're looking at, for the parents out there that you have graduates, please feel free to buy and shop local for those graduate gifts for the local vendors. And there are plenty out here, many businesses that have so many gifts for the graduates in your life. But again, on a serious note, I know that it's been hard in dealing with this global pandemic and at a global scale, and it has impacted the lives of all of us to different degrees, but nonetheless, it has impacted us. And as we go through this recovery, we are going through this together, and we have entities and individuals that like Mr. Ruben Islas, Ms. Alinda Guillen, Ms. Rose Benavides, who are there to support these efforts in the recovery. So with that being said, Mr. Islas, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the work that you do with the Chamber. I know the Chamber has been very successful, and now that you've given this opportunity to businesses to be part of your Chamber without or waiving all these fees, thank you, sir. Ms. Alinda Guillen, you've been a director for EDC for some time, and certainly look forward every time that we get together about the initiatives that we're launching for purposes of Rio Grande City, and where we're at today has a lot to do with your department and the EDC board members as well. And it's been great to be part of this growth and prosperity that Rio Grande City certainly has we been part of. Granted, there's still going to be much more. And Ms. Rose Benavides, of course, with Stark County Industrial Foundation, with South Texas College, and many more board memberships that you serve. It's always wonderful to have those conversations about the many initiatives that you launch, and being part of all these organizations. I mean, that's the reason we are where we're at today, because of individuals like yourselves that are willing to go above and beyond what is required, and that says a lot. So with that, thank you so much for being part of this. To the business owners and all businesses, thank you for joining us today, and please feel free to contact our offices so we can sit down and have that conversation and plan and see how what we can do to help you and assist you during this recovery. And again, to our city commissioners as well, Mr. Dave Chachi Jones, Mr. Ray Ramirez, Ms. Flor Flores, Mr. Hernan Garza III. Thank you for being part of this as well in the development of Rio Grande City. So once again, thank you so much, and look forward to hearing from you at our offices in the very near future. Once again, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.